Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Just Your Type. I'm Lexie.
And I'm Amy.
And together we are stressed as balls. Oh my God. I can't even explain to you the mishaps that I've gone into this today. I'm going to say now, I'm going to preempt that there might be some like audio issues with this episode. Visual watchers, you might see I'm holding mine. Mike, Amy's got hers on a stand. The stand was broken. Oh my fucking God. Okay, Amy, I think we're cursed.
Yeah, we are. We're fucking cursed. We tried to record this when last week was missing a wire, which was dumb. Me and Lexie tend to blame someone else for that, but that's fine. We had today planned for filming, and I was like, okay, picking Lexie up from the station. Pick Lexie up from the station, go home, or try to go home, and then I'm like, let me get us an energy drink real quick for vibes. This was about 3 hours ago, bear in mind. Pull up to the garage, get the drinks, go back. My car's not starting. She dead.
I'm saying my little steak bake in the passenger side, like trying to be. I don't speak car. I don't know what to say to this.
We were there for like half an hour, and then I've just dipped out. It cost me like 200 quid. 250 from the RAC. Shout out those guys.
Been here 3 hours. We were going to try and film 2 episodes today because we had to cancel last week's. The episode we're filming now comes out tomorrow. So when you're watching this, we filmed this yesterday. But I actually think that like somebody has put some evil eye voodoo shit on us because it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense because I watched one of those 5-minute Reiki healing TikToks that get rid of bad energy. So what the fuck is up with that? So I will apologize if my audio goes a bit weird because I am holding my mic and there may just be interference with that. But welcome. The first at least 20 minutes of this is going to be just us complaining about life because
as we should.
We already filmed this before and then we had issues with the mics, so we had to restart, and Amy had to go save her car. But this is the first episode of the pod that we have done since releasing episodes. Like episode 1 and 2 we filmed before we'd released any of them, so this is the first episode that we have having an audience, and we've gotten some feedback. If we can call it that. How have you been? How have you found the feedback?
I did call up Lexie crying. I was like, I can't do this. And then she gave me a little pep talk and then I was all good.
What can I say? I think it's because like we've spoken a lot. I think we should do an entire pod kind of talking about it. We both have very different like content creator journeys. I don't think you've ever had to like...
I thought he was going to say mental health issues. And I was like, yeah, that's so true.
We've both got different mental illness. My stuff is that I sit and I talk and so much of my life is on the internet and there's very little that I won't share. Whereas for you, you don't really talk about yourself.
No, like everything I've done before this has mostly been like fashion or like it's very edited to what I
want people
to know.
We have had people that we've mentioned on the podcast and that's just being like, what did you say? Like this and the other.
Fucking 10 texts.
Yeah, anyone we've mentioned or alluded to, any beep we've had, I've had people messaging me saying like, what's behind that beep? And I'm like, wouldn't you like to know? If the girls who know. Our TikTok has been subject of discussion, considering that like, you know, it's a teeny tiny TikTok page. For some reason, TikTok decided to push our TikToks to an audience of 97% men.
Yeah, wild.
What's up with that? Especially a TikTok about me talking about a one night stand that I've had. Who thought that was a good idea?
Honestly irritating because it's a girly podcast. We're catering to the girlies.
We're for the girlies and the guys, but I feel like some of our stuff you have more empathy for if you're a girl, you know? Like I've had a few people kind of message me being like, yo, I've been like listening to your podcast whilst I've been working, and it's like the complete opposite of like who you'd guess our target demographic is. And I'm like, so I love that you're like supporting, but you definitely did not enjoy it. Yeah. Like there is no way you listen to our hour and 10-minute Valentine's Day special. There's no way. But I really appreciate, like we're really thankful for the support that people have given us, but it's not the good type. Like I wish it was like the nice guys that we got the attention of, but it's not. It's the red pill Andrew Tate motherfuckers that found us. And
so fun.
There's one moment there's one moment of our podcast that's received a particular amount of attention.
A fucking lot of attention,
Lexie. So the clip of me talking about Toby. How do I talk about? I don't really post on TikTok, right? I'm not a TikToker. This girlie over here is the TikToker. But I gained like 400 or 500 followers in one day, and I was like, what's going on? Who's talking about me? I sense an interference in like my spidey senses tingling, you know? Who's talking about me? And I'd been tagged in a post that was a clip of me talking about Toby in our first episode. Had like 50k views, and the comments weren't lovely, but it wasn't anything I really cared about. And I was like, that's not what it is. What's happening? That night I have my good friend Max GG's text me going, 1.3 mil views, you've gone clear. And it was it's a TikTok of us talking about of the Toby clip, which first of all, we should have posted that ourselves, man. 1.3 mil views, you know?
Yeah.
1.3 mil views, you know?
We fumbled
on episode 1. There's been nasty stuff about Toby on there, and there was just weird stuff about me on there. So I want to clear some stuff up, okay? I got 3 points for you. Point 1, people seem to forget that I'm actually friends with these people in real life. Like, the example I made when we filmed this the first time was, if I was talking about, like, Mr. Beast or, like, what's another really big content creator that I don't know? I don't know. Zoella. Like, that would make sense because I don't know them. So it wouldn't really be embarrassing for me to lie. Why would I lie about an interaction I've had with someone that I actually know? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just embarrassing. That would just be embarrassing for me.
And then he'd be like, Lexie, why are you saying that shit?
Literally. That's my first point. Second point, do you know what? My brain is so, gone from the day we've had that I'm not even remembering my points. This is not the bad bitch thing I'd pictured. Second of all, people were being like, oh, it's so unfair of her to be sharing private texts. Do you think I would have actually shared private texts if they were private? Use your brain. Why would I do that? I've known those boys for so long. Why would, I have nothing to gain from that. It would just make me look bad. And also, I knew that it was for a video because I checked afterwards and their B-reels were literally all of them on sets. So I knew it was for a video. What is the difference between them texting me, using me for content, and me talking about it on the podcast? It is the exact same thing. Like, I don't even know if, like, the clip's gonna make it into the video or what. Like, cool, think I'm a liar, whatever. But, like, what is the difference? Like, it's really not that deep. I wouldn't have shared it if it was actual personal texts. Like, and I actually know him. So it's really, it was just crazy because hearing people be like, oh, she's such a clout chaser. Oh, why would she do that? Oh, that's so, like, beggy of her.
I'm just saying, if Lexie was a clout chaser, she wouldn't can't speak. She wouldn't be doing a podcast with myself.
Well, but after I did What's Good with Simon and Randy, and afterwards I was talking to Simon. This is when I just moved to London, and Simon, he was so lovely. Like, I'm not as close with those boys as I used to be when I was in London, but Simon was literally like, yo, if you ever need any help with anything, just let us know. Like,
where was he when we were setting up? Fucking Simon meaning to help.
He was like, yeah, if you ever want to film like a video with us, or because I used to do, that's when I was doing like reaction content. He was like, if you ever need us for anything, like if you ever want to use the studio, like go crazy. And I never ever did, because I think my biggest fear in this industry is being seen as a clout chaser. And I think there's a fine line between clout chasing and like, what's the word, like there are people who are friends with content creators and like use that to their benefit in a way that isn't clout chasey. But it's a really fine line, and I get so scared of crossing it that I've rarely really spoken about the fact that I'm friends with them or done that, besides when I go to the parties and I'm like, yeah, XIX. So that's another thing that I'm like, bro, I've never like tried to use them for content. This is the first time I've spoken about them in content besides the Beta Squad video, and it's gone like this. But 1.3 mils in episode 1.
Wow,
we have gone clear. But have you received a lot of hate like in your content creator journey? That's what
I've had dribs and drabs. I've never had like a full-on like hate party, but just like random accounts telling me to kill myself. But as I was saying before, it doesn't really bother me. Like, it would bother me if someone I knew had like a strong opinion on me, which wasn't good. The appearance ones,
that's always going to be a bit jarring though, because that's the one thing that like someone can insult your personality and you're like, oh, but you don't know me. But the second someone starts talking about how you look,
yeah. But other than that, like if you tell me to kill myself, I am gonna laugh. Like,
don't have fuel to the fire. I'll do it.
It is funny. And I'm like, who is sat there tipper-tapping away, sending a message like that? Like, huh?
Literally never in my life have I hated something enough to want to comment on it. It's just always a not interested or a mute if I really hate it that much.
Like, the only people I tell to kill themselves are like my friends, but in a jokey way.
You know what I mean? Like yeah, that's what baffles me, because my favorite thing is that you know that none of these people would say it to you in person. And I told the story the first time we filmed this, and again, every time I tell a story like this, I can just smell the people in the comments going, cap, didn't happen.
Sorry, I've just really overthought what I said. Sorry to interrupt, Lexie. But I mean it in a friendly way. Like, if Lexie's like, oh, they got my coffee order wrong, I'll be like, you might as well just kill yourself.
No, like, literally, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm not doing good. And he's like, maybe you should just...
maybe you should just kill yourself.
Like, oh my God, I had this experience. I was walking out the Sidemen charity match. Here I am, cloud chasing again. And this guy stopped me and was like, oh, hey, I'm a big fan. Can I get a photo? And first of all, if you say you're a big fan of me, what do you mean? I do not stream anymore. I don't do anything. Actually, I've started streaming again. Twitch.tv/Lexie. But it's been a minute since I was anywhere near relevant. So it is just like, wow, you must have like loved me during COVID. So I took a picture of this guy. And then afterwards, he tagged me in it. And I looked and I swipe up. And he had responded to so many of my stories just with hate. It was nuts. It was literally like, you look so claps. You're ugly. You look fat in this. Lose some weight. One of them was literally like, I think you could be a pig at one point. It was literally, you know, those like really brutal like guy comments.
Yeah.
And then met me in person and was like, I'm a really big fan. And in the photo was like, oh, finally got to meet. Huh? Make it make sense. So that's another thing I always think of when people are like, because one of the comments we got was girls who refer to themselves as girlies make me sick, or like women that have one night stands are whores. It's like, I'm sure you're real popular with the ladies, Mr. Nobody 65731. Get back on Reddit.
That reminded me though, I had this guy DM me like, oh, I want to go out with you, I'll take you on a date. Obviously he didn't reply, it was in my DM request. And then I put a story up of me like holding a food shop in a lift, and he goes, lol, fatty. I was like, huh?
Switch up so far.
How have you just asked me on a date and then replied to a story being like the next week's calling me a fatty?
I think I've actually decided my biggest, like, people always say what's your biggest ick or what's your biggest like trait you don't like in someone, and normally I'm quite lenient. I don't really have icks because I'm just like, yeah, you do you. I genuinely think, and I'm gonna have to explain this one, I just can't do another insecure man. And don't get me wrong, being insecure is in, I have days where I wake up and I'm like, the body dysmorphia is body dysmorphiaing, and I look in the mirror and I'm like, I feel awful. And I hide in the house and I don't really go out and I don't take pictures of myself. That kind of insecure is completely different to the kind of insecure where you lash out and you're like so insecure in yourself that you take it out on your girlfriend or your friends. I can't do another relationship like that, man, or be near people like that again. I think that is genuinely like what these kind of people that comment are like, because I have gone through so many lives in content creation. Sometimes there'll be a comment on something being like, oh, who's this girl? What do I know her from? And there'll be a comment being like, oh, the Beta Squad video. Then someone else will be like, no, from the K-pop stuff. And someone else will be like, no, from like this one person's stream. And I'm like, guys, please, sorry. Sorry, just all the strings on my bow. I think each one comes with like a different level of hate. Because when I did K-pop stuff, it was like, oh, I'll try and shorten the story down this time because Amy has literally already heard this story now. I used to do like K-pop reaction content and like dance videos and stuff. And I still do the dance stuff, but not so much the reactions, because I had like a little fan fiction YN moment, which by the way, Amy doesn't know what that is.
I don't know what that... I know what fan fiction is.
But like you didn't have the like rainy day Arctic
it.
Monkeys 2013 Rip Skinny Jeans American Apparel skirt moment.
No,
you did
never.
not live. This explains so much about your character.
It's not developed.
You mean you didn't make eye contact with Harry Styles' green orbs as he scanned across the crowd and spotted you in the crowd?
Honestly, you're speaking
What?
a different language.
You didn't get called down by your mum in the house and she's saying you're getting adopted, and you go downstairs and it's One Direction?
Lexie, what are you
I
talking
actually
about?
don't understand. Oh my God, you've missed out on so much. Maybe we'll like recreate 20. Maybe
you can read me some fan fiction.
I used to write it.
Shut up!
I did a video reading my fan fiction. I did one about One Direction and 5 Seconds of Summer, and then one about O2L.
Shut up!
Do
I
you remember
love
O2L?
Connor Franta.
I love Connor Franta. He was my favourite. And Troye Sivan, so clearly.
And fuck, who was the other
Kian
one?
Lawley.
Yes, I spilt a drink down that man's top at a party.
Smash, but he's a dad now.
Yes.
So
Is
respectful. Yes.
it? Fuck, I didn't know that. He was and is... I haven't seen him in a few years. That sounds like we're friends. But he was fit
Me
back
and
in the day.
Kian. Me and Kian go way back. I call him Key. Keep short.
I literally wanted the room to swallow me out when I spilled that drink down him. I literally looked up and I was like, oh my God.
I completely forgot what I was talking about now. But I had my YN fan fiction moment in my K-pop live when one of my favorite groups, Stray Kids. Okay, I'm going to give like a condensed version of the full story. So way back ago, there's a K-pop awards show. Imagine like the Grammys, but for K-pop, called Mama, which is like the Asian Music Awards. And they did one of the awards, which they gave to BTS, and they got a load of popular K-pop content creators to announce it. So I got played on this screen in Japan announcing an award for BTS. Kind of crazy.
What does BTS stand for?
Bangtan Sonyeondan.
I really thought you were going to say behind the scenes.
And it was funny because when it happened in England, I was ill doing my work at college with a tissue up my nose, like episode 2 of the podcast. I was like, there's no way that I'm looking hot in Japan right now whilst I actually look like this. But a fan sent me a video and they were like, oh, I've got a clip of like Stray Kids reacting to you saying stuff. And whenever I spoke, my favorite member like pointed, and then the second time he patted someone and pointed at me. I lived my little Delulu life and was like, he's pointing at me. But then I was like, it's probably just something random. They then come to London. I go to the London show, and in K-pop concerts, this is so new to you. K-pop concerts, they do a thing called a high touch, which is where afterwards you go and you like high five them and you meet them. It's like a meet and greet, but they're in a line and you just go along and you like high five them.
Okay.
And I'm going along and I get to my favorite member, and as I'm going, he like stops me and goes, I love your videos. And in response, I go, shut up. I get pushed along by security. It was really embarrassing, actually. So then that kind of blew up because I spoke about that. And then later I went to Thailand for a thing called KCON. And there's basically a moment that blew up on Twitter of him pointing at me in the crowd of the stadium and like pointing and jumping and being like, whoa. And he like pats the guy next to him and we're like pointing at each other. That went like viral on Twitter. Bro, the messages I was getting, I had people being like, if I pay you, will you come to Paris with me to stand front row with me? But then I also had people being like, you're trying to get his attention, like you whore. I had people like sending me death threats. No matter what video I did, I was getting death threats. No matter, like if I just went, oh, this member's my favorite, they'd be like, die. You're fat, you're ugly, like this, that, and the other. To the point where I just stopped. I stopped doing K-pop content.
Did that get to you though? Like people telling you to kill yourself?
Eventually it did, because at the time I literally was struggling with like food issues as well. So like being like 17 with a food issue and then being told you're fat and to kill yourself, it's like, okay. Like any dance video I did, they're like, the way your thighs move are disgusting, stuff like that. It was insane. So that's when I stopped. But then like obviously when I came to London, it was like a different pool of hate and so on and so on. But
yeah, this
is kind of different for us, so we're just so relevant now.
It's so different for me.
Yeah,
because you stream and I don't. I don't talk.
So Valentine's Day, that was our last episode. How did you spend your Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day I did absolutely nothing. However, very coded, me and Lexie are going to talk about what I did on Galentine's Day. Whee! Which was the lovely Eleanor Neal, friend of the channel, threw a Galentine's for the gals, and I was going to go. You weren't sure if you were going to go, right?
I had like something on at the same time and decided I was going an hour before I went, in true me fashion.
So end up not going to Eleanor's because I instead went on a fucking date.
By the way, there were like 3 girls that didn't go to Eleanor's because they were going on dates. So there were 3 girls that like, I was one of them, that had like a friend and they had turned up on their own being like, my friend's on a date, so I'm here by myself.
Yeah, I stupidly went on a fucking date and it was the worst date I've ever been on. Text Lexie 10 minutes in, she's like, how's it going? I'm like, falling in love, because I would fall in love with a guy within the first 10 minutes.
That's girlhood.
And then give it 15, give it 20. I'm then texting Lexie like, don't reply. I think I text her on WhatsApp and then I'm like, don't reply on here.
You said just like, don't reply to this.
Yeah.
You said something really vague.
Right, whatever. Lexie's too drunk to know what I'm on about. I didn't even really know what I was on about. And it was just a horrible date, a horrible situation. I wanted to get out of there as quick as I could. I fucking got an Uber all the way home, which was so expensive as well, just to get myself out of that situation. It was horrible.
But it was scary though, because like obviously I was like, I turned up to Galentine's and everyone was being so like polite, so I was like, everyone needs to get drunk, so we're all trashed, and then I'm getting texts from Amy being like, okay, don't reply to this, I need help, how are you getting back to Brighton, but don't reply. And I was like, I'm getting mixed signals here, and I was stressed because I was like, okay, I'll leave it half an hour and then I'll reply just in case she's in a situation. But then if she's in a situation, I want to help. And it was so tricky. But I'm glad you got out of it. Jesus Christ. I'd invoice the motherfucker.
Yeah, for fucking sure. Oh,
I did nothing on actual Valentine's. I streamed and ordered £30 of sushi.
As you should.
Which honestly, probably the best Valentine's Day of my life. But on that fun little note, the Valentine's episode, people were like, we've deleted Hinge. We're so on our, and don't get me wrong, I really stand by my point of like, I'm very happy by myself right now, but then I got bored. So I was like, fine, I'll re-download Hinge.
It was so funny. So me and Lexie were stressing out because this podcast shit, like, we just don't know what we're doing with the setup. Anyway, it's one night and we're on FaceTime to each other and I'm like, or you said, I can't remember who said first, but they were like, I'm so stressed, I've re-downloaded Hinge. And and I was like, fucking same. And then we were both like, as if we've done that.
Like, there's actually no way. Like, but I did it, and I'm actually trying it, which is nice. Don't get me wrong, I still only speak to one person at a time because I'm a freak of nature. But like, I have been actually having conversations this time instead of just like crossing everybody off. Although I did, for the first 3 days, just use it to catch up with school friends. As in, like, it looks like an Instagram chat. It's literally just us being like, yo, how you doing? How's work? All that stuff. Although, oh my God, I've had now a couple of guys that I grew up with from my hometown swipe up my story being like, just want to meet, insert name. And they've tried to use that as like...
That's so weird.
Actually horrendous. If you know me and you find me on Hinge... don't use that, okay? You're cringe, and I won't reply to you.
Someone replied to, I've got like obviously pictures on Hinge, and one of them is with my friend Cam, who's a freestyle footballer. And someone tried to match me with the, I just want to see him kick a ball in a net, and I was like, huh?
Like, what are you thinking? Like, are you with the boys and you're like, oh, this is gonna be so funny, it's gonna humble her, or do you think it's actually like gonna work? I just would love to. I said I'd love to spend a day in a man's head. I would really not.
No,
but it is actually really funny how we do the same thing a lot. Like, there's a lot of times that we have a thought and it's the same thought. Like, something happens and then the other person's like, no way, I was gonna say that. Or like, what was it? You said a TikTok.
Yesterday.
What happened yesterday?
Yesterday we were talking about bits to do, and so I send Lexie this TikTok. I'm like, it's basically where two people try and say one word at the same time, and I send it to her, and then Lexie goes, do you know what I think is a really good idea, when you try and say the same word at the same time? And I was like, Lexie, have you seen the text I sent you? And she hadn't read it, and then we were both like, what?
So we're going to test that today, because clearly we've got like strong telepathy that has come together through us being like on the same range of like trauma and, you know, just girl bossery. Bro, the incel men are going to love me saying that. So I think we're going to put this to the test, and we are going to try and say the same word at the same time. So, this is actually really tricky now that I think about it. Like, the chances of this actually happening are so low, because now I'm already thinking, is it going to be something that we've spoken about, or is it going to be completely different? Okay,
but how me and my friends play it. So say you said tree and I said festival. You then have to think of a word after that.
Okay.
That is like relevant to both.
Okay. Telepathy test. Trying to say the same word. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Cake.
Breakdown and cake.
Oh, fuck, this isn't good. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Therapy. 3, 2, 1. Man. What the frick?
Sorry.
You just have to say what's on the top of your head.
I know.
Okay, let's start again. Random word. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Car.
Podcast. 3, 2, 1. Breakdown.
I tried so hard to like read. I was like,
podcast car.
Breakdown. Oh, that's actually so based down true. Okay, one more time. Let's try this one more time. Let's take a second actually to get onto each other's like.
Yeah, just
okay. Let's make some eye contact. But if we do this for too long, we will fall in love with each other. Do you know, if you look at someone for 2 minutes without like looking away, you'll fall in love.
Should we try it for a podcast?
it's just for the audio listeners. It's just silence for 2 minutes. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
London.
Purple.
Think about it.
3, 2, 1.
Purple
bridge.
rain.
Huh? The word can't be the word again. What word reminds you of purple? Purple.
Purple rain, the song. London's always rainy. Purple,
That is
purple.
true. Okay, I think this is a bust.
No, we're doing it until we get the
shit, okay.
same word.
Okay, new one, and we're going to keep going with this one. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Microwave. 3, 2, 1.
Festival.
TikTok. 3, 2, 1.
Top
Field.
first.
3, 2, 1.
Tents.
Wedding.
3, 2, 1. Guess
James
there.
Marriott.
Okay, guess there. James Marriott.
3, 2, 1. Jago.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Tour. 3, 2, 1.
London.
Hinge.
Okay.
What did you say?
London.
3, 2,
2,
1.
1.
Purple rain. How did we fuck it up this bad? Do you know who I saw do that? It was George and Arthur, and they made it look so easy. One more for real this time, guys. Okay.
Why can't I think of a word? Okay, go. 3, 2, 1, laptop.
Football.
3, 2, 1,
Chelsea.
David Beckham.
I thought you'd say Chelsea.
Okay.
I don't know shit about football.
Name a Chelsea player.
Huh?
3, 2, 1, Cole Palmer.
Messi.
Mercy. Do you mean Messi?
I said Messi.
I thought you said Mercy.
I'm like, please get me out Mercy, please.
And on that side note,
bust. Not happening. Well, it was a cute thought. Like, I really did think we were going to get it at some point. Maybe we can work on it, take it back to the drawing board, and come back to it. That bit went really well.
At least you know it was not scripted at all.
Oh my god, I wonder if people do script those.
Bro, Matt was like to me, that was so scripted about the Snog, Marry, Kill thing that we did.
Which part?
In the first. Because I got both Matt and Lloyd for marry and the Jago thing. And I was like, honey, you may script your... Actually, no, that sounds like I'm calling them out.
It's a call out. It's a call out. It's a call out.
It's a beep.
Wait. They are our icons, though.
Yeah.
Matt and Lloyd are our icons. As I said before, they are the founding fathers of TikTok podcasts. I do wonder if there are people who say that they watch our podcast and they don't. Like, I wonder if there are people that are like, good job. Never seen it. Never clicked on it. Saw half a TikTok and they were like, whore. Matt was actually all of those hate accounts. That's what I heard. It's all his burner account. I keep falling down so many TikTok rabbit holes.
I really thought you were going to say stairs. I keep falling down the stairs.
One time I fell down the stairs because my brother just pushed me. He poked me with a broom and I fell all the way down the stairs. It was actually really funny. No, I struggle so badly with hyperfixations. Like, I genuinely will find something, be obsessed with it, and then move on. Like, Five Nights at Freddy's. I went through a massive Five Nights at Freddy's hyperfixation.
Oh my god, did you go to the premiere of that?
No.
Yes.
No, I didn't. I wish I had. So, I've fallen down a Five Nights at Freddy's rabbit hole. Recently, it's been Deep Space TikToks. All sorts. Like, sometimes I just genuinely can't stop. Then it was Until Dawn, which is another video game. I just kept watching playthroughs of it and like lore videos. It's genuinely really scary. What was like your latest hyperfixation?
Literally, and I'll show you it. And I'm gonna ask you a question. How big do you think dinosaurs are?
Like, pretty fucking wham.
Like, big, right? Like, name it to a animal we got kicking around
Well,
today.
I'm thinking about Tomb Raider Anniversary, where you fight that fucking dinosaur. That's a big boy. I'd say like Big Ben.
Yeah, like,
I'm
fucking
talking Big Ben.
big. Let me show you
Big
this.
Ben was actually named after a dinosaur called Ben. Okay, it's like
Huh?
little guys. Okay, yeah. No, this is about what I'd think it would be. Like, haven't you watched Jurassic Park?
No, that's the size of a human.
Yeah, that is a human.
Yeah.
But have you seen Jurassic Park where they're running around at like their shoulder height and stuff? But like a T-Rex isn't going to be that big. A T-Rex is going to be huge.
I thought dinosaurs were like we were like the size of 1 foot compared to them, as in like one of their foots. But some of them are so small. I thought they were
That's like
huge.
that's like a baby though.
Like, if they were knocking around now, I'd definitely have a pet dino.
I don't know if I could hack that. I can barely look after myself. I'm so determined to get a pet this year. I want to get a cat. Everyone in Brighton has a cat and I want one.
Oh, please get one of those bald ones.
Ew.
Oh no.
Do you know one thing I noticed whilst editing the... Oh.
Do you know what? I'm done. I'm done past it. I'm trying to quit, guys. I'm trying to quit. I do vape. I used to smoke. Now we're trying to get rid of the vapes.
My favourite joke is when people who smoke just go, vaping's dumb, just pick up a cigarette. That really always tickles me. Do you find it hot when you see someone who smokes? Like, do you think it looks cool? Like, I think it, like, I don't know. It looks cool. Like, when I see Lana Del Rey, I'm like, you're so cool. But I hate everything about it. I hate the smell. I hate the, like, fingers. I hate the, like...
Yeah, like, if you kiss someone, you know if they've been smoking, and it's horrible. And the fact I used to be like that for, like... I started smoking, I think, when I was 14, which is not advised, obviously, but it's just a habit picked up in school. And then I kicked it... Well, I haven't kicked nicotine, but I kicked smoking probably when I was like 20, 21. So that's like 6 years. I don't even know if that's the right maths. Of lung damage. And then I got on to a dual, which I then pretty much managed to almost kick. Like, I was coming off of it really slowly. And then those vapes came out like 2-3 years ago, and I've been hooked on those.
Why do I have to make them so girly pop, man?
Yeah, they taste so good. So I've started buying the tobacco flavour one, apart from today. Today was deserved a fruity vape.
A little treat.
But I've been buying the tobacco ones to try and... Because I don't like the taste of it, to try and get myself off them.
I remember so vividly being like 15, 16, maybe even 17, and being like, oh, I'm gonna be so cool. You know when you just decide you're gonna reinvent yourself one day at school?
Did you start smoking?
Yeah. But I vividly remember because there was a guy I liked who smoked, and the guys would like sit outside, and you'd like go into college and they'd be all like outside smoking, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go out. And I remember because I went out with my friend and he was like, you gonna smoke? And I was like, yeah. And then he ran in and like told everyone. So all the boys came out and they were like, there's no way.
Smoke.
I was such a goody at school. Like not like a sweat or anything, but I was like, I didn't smoke. I didn't like really do anything. Like I was super like straight edge.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, doing it. And then this guy just being like, Lexie, you have to breathe it in. Like you can't just. And I was like, I don't want to. So I like instantly tapped out of smoking. But I remember you'd go to like house parties, and I think it was just boys egoing, like 17-year-old boys egoing, where someone would go, has anyone got a cigarette? And about 10 guys would go, yeah, got a fresh pack. Anyone who actually smokes is not just giving away their straights like that.
Oh yeah.
Like they were like, got 3 bags, go crazy, have 2, have 3. But they just wanted to do it for like the image.
I feel like it wouldn't massively bother me if I was with someone that smoked. It's only if like I hate people who do it in the house. That's disgusting. It's also just like brush your teeth after.
I think my policy for most things is as long as it doesn't affect me, go crazy. Like I've never understood why people get so bothered by things other people do that don't affect them. Like if you want to smoke, go crazy as long as you're not blowing it into my face.
Both my ex-boyfriends used to smoke like occasionally, and like if you were to kiss them you could taste it and I'd be a bit like
Like here's some gum.
But other than that, yeah, go wild. Do heroin.
Yeah, go crazy. Shoot up. Okay, we actually have a fun little segment planned as well. We were like, what could we do? Turn around. Every now and then I feel a little bit lonely. Oh my god, fine. Blind karaoke segment.
Yes, please.
We'd get copyrighted so hard, so instantly. So basically, we were trying to think of things we can do. And I think like our favorite segments that we do is when we ask you guys to do stuff. So we have, do you know what, Amy? Actually, you introduce. I've been yapping away today.
Questions you're too scared to ask girls.
Basically, we did a Google form and we asked you guys to send in questions that you're too scared to ask women. I thought it would be a little like, I think there's a good mix, or hopefully there's a good mix of like girls asking questions and like guys asking questions kind of thing, you know?
This is an interesting one. Would you go out with a guy who gets his nails done?
I know loads of guys that get their nails done. Like that's one of the things that I mean, like that would never bother me. Like if that makes you feel good about yourself, that has nothing to do with me. Like imagine if you like, I know when I go and get my nails done, don't look at my hands right now, I love it and I feel so pretty after I get it done. I could not imagine like being with a guy or someone and them going and getting their nails done and me being like, ugh, like who would you be to take that confidence away from them? I think it's nice. It shows that you care about yourself. Not saying that you don't if you don't, but if that's your like respite, if that's your enrichment time, fucking go crazy.
Go crazy. I quite like black nails on a guy.
Yeah, sometimes
like the
little
black nail
chips.
varnish. But yeah, no, literally doesn't bother me at all. Do you read all your messages and comments on social media? Do you like to do it or do you dread it or do you not care? Honesty, please.
You go first.
I read every single DM.
Yeah,
every fucking
Amy's
DM.
She checks who views her stories. She checks her DMs. I'm exposing this bitch.
No, I actually do. Which is why you can find out if someone muted you, Lexie Marie, and then pops up after a year and a half.
It makes it sound like I was the
one. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't Lexie.
I could tell. I knew that you were the kind of person to check stories because like the other day I had a day where I was like, okay, I can't message anyone, and I clicked on your close friends 2 seconds after you texted me being like, are you okay? I was like,
because Lexie was having a bad day and I texted being like, are you having a are you having a bad day, like are you okay, XYZ, and then she didn't reply and I was like, okay, like let's just leave it. And then she saw my story and I thought, are you okay?
Capital letters. I do a mix of both. I go through phases where I don't, and then I go through phases where I definitely do. Like I think when stuff like the Toby clip came out and when the Beta Squad video came out, if I'm very anxious about how I'm being perceived, I'll almost like I'll check everything and I'll almost be like looking for bad comments. But then if I find bad comments, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stop looking because what's the point? But I think always within like the first bit of time I check, and every now and then I like search my name on things just to see what people are saying about me, like indirects and stuff. But I try my best not to, because you're just not helping yourself. Obviously it's nice to read good ones.
Would you not read your DM requests?
Every now and then, but it's normally just really strange stuff, so sometimes I ignore it. But it does mean that sometimes I miss nice messages from like cool people. And I'm like, shit. But I go through phases where I check a lot, and then I go through phases where I don't check at all. Depends how my mental is, to be so for real.
As a girl, how do I deal with being conventionally unattractive?
Oh, I hate the concept of being conventionally attractive, and it's so fucking dumb, but it is genuinely something that we're never going to be able to get rid of.
Yeah.
You go first. I feel like I'm talking so much, so.
I feel like comparing yourself on social media probably plays a massive part in you comparing yourself to the conventionally attractive, because most Instagram girls, and like, shout out, love them, but there was an era, especially 4 years ago, when whatever Kylie Jenner was doing, everyone and their mum was doing, including like lip filler. The way to be a conventionally good looking girl, like in today's society, is to aim to look like one of the Kardashians, in my eyes.
And it's always something new. It's always like, oh, at the moment it's like the clean girl aesthetic and being naturally pretty. 2 years ago it was like full face,
Full beat, yeah.
like, full beat. Like, I think you just have to be so much happier in yourself. Wait, have you finished your point before I start yapping?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good.
I feel like, yeah, it's something I've struggled with a lot, because like I'm 5'10". I'm a tall girl, and I have like a big issue with comparing myself to other people as well. And I was in a relationship where I was like compared to people a lot, and why am I trying to censor it? In my last relationship, my ex would always make jokes about like liking small brunettes and liking like petite like brunette girls, and it's like I used to get bullied so much at school for being tall. Oh my god, I actually might cry talking about this. This is so fucking rough. I feel like my entire life I always had like a friend who was like it's so funny saying this whilst Amy's next to me. I always had the girl who was like, you know, the very stereotypically like small pretty girl, right? And it was like my best friend, and I grew up around G, and obviously now I have Amy next to me. Ugh, god damn it. It's so jarring to be told like this, that, and the other. And like to this day, coming out of that relationship, there are still things about myself that I don't do, and there's ways that I don't do my makeup. There's like, I stopped wearing fake eyelashes. I dyed my hair back to this color because of like feeling like I wasn't attractive because of the things that my ex would say. And it is so dumb how that stays with you forever. But I think that's always something that I've really struggled with, in feeling like it's when you can't physically change yourself, because you could like dye your hair, you could do your makeup differently, but when it reaches a point where you're like, I genuinely can't change this. I can't change how tall I am. Like, I can't change this, that, and the other. That fucking sucks. And it's like something that really genuinely stays with you. And that there were points where I just couldn't look in the mirror. My body dysmorphia was so fucking bad. And that's why I really hate the concept of like being conventionally attractive, because it's such bullshit. Because how do you actually expect people to look the same? Like, genuinely, how do you expect that? Like, you're like aiming for a standard that the people themselves can't even reach. Because there's like a girl on TikTok that like had a TikTok that had reached like 200 million views, and there were people that are like, I want to look like this, I just don't look like this. And she responded being like, I don't look like that. I had a full beat on and I had a filter on. I do not look like that.
Me, when I post an Instagram picture like in bed,
I'm trying so hard to stop using filters and stuff, because it's just like, it affects me so much. But it's like, that's why it just bothers me so much, because like you are genuinely looking for a standard that genuinely nobody can reach.
Yeah,
it genuinely makes me so mad, because so many people are affected by it, and it's almost impossible not to be, for girls and guys as well, for everyone. The only advice you can really give to that is to just preach self-love, and to like always look for something that you like about yourself.
And I also always think you're so much harder on yourself than other people are on you. Like, for you, for example, I look at you and I think, what would I change? Like, absolutely nothing. Like, when I go on shoots with like other content girlies and I take 1,000 pictures of them and they only like 2 of them, I'm like, if I was you, I could use every single one. Like, because I don't see your flaws the same way you probably don't see what I'm self-conscious about.
Oh, it's so sad. And it's so sad how it manifests itself in different ways as well. Like, for some people it manifests in insecurity, some people it manifests in jealousy, which I guess just is a facet of the word I just said that I've already forgotten because my brain fog's really bad. Insecurity. Everybody's kind of fighting the same thing.
And also, to add on that, I think just because you think someone else is pretty or prettier than you, because I feel like we're all guilty of it. Like, I'll see a girl walking down the street and I'm like, oh my god, she is so pretty.
Right.
You're making me feel like shit and you don't even know it. But that literally does not take away from the beauty that like you already have.
And on literally, like, okay, I'll try and wrap this point up, but it's like, it is that exact thing where you look at someone and you might be like, oh, I want to look like you and have this and this and this, and they're looking at you and probably thinking the exact same thing. And it's always, you want what you don't have. The amount of times I've had girls be like, oh my god, you're so tall, I wish I had that. Or, oh my god, your hair's so straight, I wish I had that. And I'm like, I wish I was 3-4 inches smaller. Like, I wish like this, that, and the other. I wish I had like darker hair. I wish I was whatever. basically, love yourself, bitch. To conclude on that, Jesus Christ, that was a complete
proper deep
but
word.
it's so relevant to like everybody, like gender, like there is no gender specific like crowd for that. It's something everybody goes through, and I think you just really need to learn to love yourself. One of my favorite quotes ever, and one that like really got me through my breakup, and I always quote it wrong, but it's the concept of like always tend to your own garden, because then they use a metaphor of like bees, because it's like if a bee comes along and pollinates or whatever, not euphemism, it'll create like a prettier garden, and even if not, you'll still have a beautiful garden. Like as long as you like love yourself and are so secure in yourself, you can never really go wrong. But it's hard, it's so much easier said than done. But
yeah, for sure.
to the person you sent and you're beautiful. Okay.
How do I deal with a friendship breakup?
Oh, more jarring than an actual breakup, I'd say.
Yeah,
that
for
shit
real.
sucks ass, because like who do you turn to? At least if you have a normal breakup, you can turn to your friend.
Sad.
Friendship breakup, where you going? Sit back down. Have you ever had one?
Not like where there's been something that's happened and it's like, okay, we're not friends anymore. I will say a quick story. I used to be best friends with this girl, and she dated this guy in school, and then they broke up, and he went with her best friend at the time, and then they were together for a few years. Then they broke up, and then they got back together. So we were like 17 at this age.
Yeah.
And goes back to the time where I was smoking. He would smoke as well, so we'd go out a lot to have a cigarette. And then she was just off with me one time, and I was like, what? She was like, I basically think that every time you and, let's give him a name,
Chris.
I basically think that every time you and Chris go out for a cigarette, you're getting with each other. And I was like,
You're shagging in the bike shed, Amy. What were you thinking of?
I was like, that's so true. How do you know? No. But I was like, you're my best friend. I would never do that to you. That's obviously past trauma for her.
Yeah.
But then for her to completely like isolate me for like the months that she did until she said that, I was like, I'm not dealing with that. So
it's not my monkey's not my circus.
Slowly cut it off. But other than that, no, not really. And I'm not missing said person in my life anyway.
Yeah, no. I think sometimes the breakup section, like with any kind of breakup, is really sad at first, and then in hindsight you realize how much better off you are.
Yeah.
Bro, I had so many friendship breakups to the point where I thought maybe I was the drama. I had a girl that I was friends with. Let's call her Leanne. Oh, I don't know where these names come from. We walked to school together every single day for maybe 2-3 years. She's one of the first people I became friends with when I went to secondary school. Genuinely my best friend. We did sleepovers. There was a group of a ton of us. You know, in year 7, year 8, your friendship group's like 15 girls. Like, yeah, and it's always massive. And then it whittles down. So we're talking, it's been like 3-4 years since we've been best friends. And one day, 2 of the other girls in my group, they go, Lexie, we need to tell you something. And I'm like, what? And they like take me out of class and they go, Leanne's been like bullying you. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, for at least like the past like year, she has group chats that you're not in with all of us. Like, she tries to avoid sitting next to you. She'll message into this group chat being like, Lexie sat next to me and I feel sick. When we'd all meet up, she'd purposefully make me go somewhere else and then make everyone run away and hide from me. Like,
I hate people that
it was like nasty stuff.
Are under people's spell though as well.
But also, I remember I look back on it now and I'm like, why did these girls allow that to happen for a year? For a year. And I think it all boiled down to the fact that I think she fancied a guy that I was like talking to. It's year 9. Like, what do you mean? So then she got kicked out of the group. And then eventually, like when I was in sixth form, I also had like a friendship breakup with the rest of my group. And I remember something happened and it was like, I did something silly, but it was nothing absolutely life-changing. And these girls all dropped me. I remember I was in a club and they were like, you're a disgusting human, like you're the worst. I basically like gotten with this guy that had slept with one of my friends like a year or 2 before. And they were like, you're disgusting, like you're the worst, like you're a whore, basically. And I had a panic attack in this club and went to go leave. And I remember going to my friend's house crying and they were like, you could have done anything, but these girls were just waiting to like catch you on something so they could kick you out the group. Like, it's crazy. And it's always to do with boys as well. And then before that, I stopped talking to them for a bit as well because a guy at a party who one of my friends fancied was talking to me. And I was just like having a conversation, didn't really like the guy. He made up a lie and went to my friend and was like, oh, Lexie was saying this about you. And she believed him. Got me kicked out of the group and then apologized, brought me back. And then this thing happened. They kicked me out again. Like, bro, and it sucked ass because it genuinely like felt like I'd lost everyone. Yeah. And to this day, okay, this was in year 9, year 10, latest when I was 18. Last year, one of the girls I went to school with blocked me because the other girls I used to be friends with at school told her to. Brother.
I was in a massive girl group at school, like 18 of us, and yeah, drama fucking every day. And now I'm only friends with 3. I feel like, am I missing someone out?
I'm friends with 2 girls. Like, and then that's why my friendship group was just guys, because the girls like argued with the guys, and then like they cut the guys off, and then the guys kind of recruited me back when I kept getting kicked out. They were like, please, like, get away from them. So it's really nasty.
Yeah, that was a massive thing as well, because like obviously there'd be cliques in the group, and then some girls would be like, why those girls hang with the boys? Ugh.
But oh my god, we have to do an episode about school stuff, because there is some jarring stuff that happened. First of all, the guys in my year group, this is the dumbest stuff you're ever going to hear. The different cliques of boys gave themselves names. You had, oh my god, it's awful. So the boys that like didn't really do very well were like kind of like always like making a fuss and stuff. That was the Wolf Pack.
What, in the American TV show?
Right? And then you had like the PE boys, like, you know, all the sports science boys. They were the Chinos.
Oh, and chinos were big back in the day.
Right. And then like the other boys, like the skater boys, who were like the kind of ones that we were friends with. And I begged them to not give themselves a name. They did. They were the Mandem.
Oh no.
Awful. I could go on for ages about stories about my school life. It goes crazy, but okay. But to answer your question, friendship breakups, you just have to be so aware that like you're probably better off without them. Sorry, I'm so rambly and philosophical today. I'm so sorry. I'm yapping.
Lexie, I don't know what philosophical means.
Baby girl, you're so pretty. You are so pretty. But yeah, you'll get through this. Friendship breakups, they're so a part of life, and especially in school when you're a teenager and stuff, it's just a breeding ground for jealousy, for bad fucking vibes. But you got this. Just find your good friends.
And it might take you a few years, but you'll find them. Why do girls lie about being on contraception?
Do they? I think you're talking to the wrong girls.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say,
I've never
been on contraception.
No, I actually haven't. But
Really?
Besides condoms.
I thought you were gonna say pull out method.
Besides raw dogging. Why do we keep mentioning raw dogging in our podcast?
You
It's
keep
always
mentioning
me. Freudian slip. I'm just kidding. No, yeah, I remember like I used to have really bad acne, still do, lol. And I remember going to the doctors and then being like, oh, I'll put you on the pill, and my mum was like, no. Not, she is not.
I went on the pill for acne.
I could not imagine like having to take a tablet every day the same, like when I was, you know, medicated. Even that would stress me out. I'd like set my alarms and I'd wake. Your toes just brushed against my fucking knee.
Why didn't you go on that? No, why don't you go on that?
What is it? Just a patch?
Patch. Then you don't have to remember. I'm really bad at remembering stuff.
I'm so fiddly though.
So
like
that's
I would
what
definitely
I'm
just rip it
on.
off. And just the thought of any of it, IUD, like I'd rather just stay away from men for the rest of my life. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you're with a girl who's lying about contraception. I think you're just with one of the crazy ones. Like, don't get me wrong, I love all women. I'm a feminist. I've never known someone to lie about that.
Yeah, no, weird. Opinion on the free rule.
What the heck is that?
Do you not know it? You don't know the free rule?
No. The free rule? I literally don't know the free rule.
The free rule is, I think it's more aimed at guys than it is girls, but it's essentially within the first 3 hours, the guy will know whether he likes you or like sees you as a shag or like sees you as like something more future-y. Within the first 3 weeks, he can tell whether he actually gets on with you, whether he likes your vibe, X, Y, Z. And then within the first 3 months, which is why everyone's like, situationships only last 3 months. It's like whether he actually wants to be with you.
Oh, I've heard that, but then the last 3 is 3 years and they know if they want to marry you.
Oh.
I think there's like different spans. I mean, I guess so. I feel like I've always been very good on reading vibes. I said this earlier. That's also such a cringe sentence. I like
so good at reading vibes.
Like I feel like when I meet someone, I know pretty instantly, which is why the concept of first dates freaks me out so bad, because once I sit down, I know. It's not going to be like, oh, maybe I know once I sit down and we have that first conversation if we're going to like get along or not.
But I think I know, like when I text you, I'm in love with this guy.
You're a fool. You're a fool. But I've had times where I've met people and I've gotten, sorry, I'm just starting yelling. I remember there was a guy that I met in the content creator scene and in the K-pop content creator scene. Who I met and I did not get good vibes. And my best friend at the time, who was also a K-pop content creator, was like, no, it's one of my best friends. I love them. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I got it wrong. Literally like 3 months down the line, turned out he was like awful and everybody hated them. And I'm just like, when have I ever been wrong? But I see it. I get it. I feel like if I was dating someone for like 3 months and wasn't like, okay, I want to like be official with this person, I'd be concerned.
Yeah.
That's like a big good chunk of time. No, there are a couple here, but I feel like if you've avoided them on purpose.
Lexie, I'm dyslexic. I probably didn't read them.
What's your feelings on a guy you've been friends with for years developing feelings for you? Like, what would you do?
I'd be like, no, because I would have had time to develop feelings for that person. If I don't have them, then
Did I ever tell you? So when I was a kid, my parents would be like, you're not allowed a boyfriend till you're 30. And I took that personally. And I think my parents started feeling bad because I remember my dad would come home because he worked in the military, so he was always off. He'd come back and he'd be like, your boyfriend, girlfriend? And I'm like, no. And he'd be like, anyone you're talking to? And I'm like, no. I think they started to get concerned. But my cousin, after I had my breakup, she was like, yeah, I had an awful boyfriend and then found the love of my life 4 years later. So like 6 years later. So don't worry, you're fine. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to be alone for 4 years. But I bumped into my godfather at a bar in Brighton one time. And my dad was talking to me a bit about it afterwards. And he was like, oh, your godfather was saying that you've grown into a beautiful young woman. He said he's really surprised that you're like single. You don't have boys chasing after you. And my dad was like, yeah, we all just think that you're going to be on your own for the next 10 years. And then you'll just reconnect with someone you went to school with and probably get married within a year. Huh?
How does that make you feel? Do you want to digest that?
I still haven't digested it. We had this conversation months ago. I'm like, 10 years? 10 years? Am I fucking Mrs. Havisham?
Although I saw... Well, I get most of my stats from TikTok. I saw a TikTok
research.
And it was... don't quote me on this, but it was definitely over like 50% or like 60% of... It might even be 90% of marriages in the last 10 years, if they've got married before they were 30, have ended up in divorce.
That's mad. I just actually don't know what I'd do. Like, if one of my like guy friends was just suddenly like, oh no, I really, really like you, I'd probably just laugh in their face because I'd be like, you have seen me at my worst. But to be fair, also, who would love you better than someone who's known you that long and has probably seen your worst side? I don't know, but then you never know. They might say it and then you might be like, whoa, like, actually no, they've said it same. But I doubt it.
I feel like maybe if I'm like 30, like, but like right now, if any of my guy mates said that to me, I'd be like, you're tapped.
I'd be like, what? Shut the fuck up.
I'm just way too comfortable around my guy mates. Like, no makeup, look like shit. Like, I'll FaceTime James Park every now and then and my hair will be like this. And I'm like, I just got out of the shower.
That's what I mean though. Who would love you better than like somebody who's seen you like that? Okay, this will be our last one because I think we've been yapping for an hour. Good for us. Why do girls always go for the treat them mean, keep them keen guys, then complain when they can't find any nice guys? P.S. Love you both. Keep it up.
Because I don't want someone who is at my fucking, I don't know, is it beck and knees?
Beck and call.
Beck and call. It's fucking annoying. I think especially when I've had like relationships that
I think
like,
you're definitely more of a mean boy kind of girl.
Needy.
I think mine's different. I don't like people that treat me mean. I think my chat is just very sarcastic.
Yeah, that too.
And I'm very like, I need someone who can give back my, I sound like I'm on Love Island. I need someone that can give the banter I give them back at me. This is awful. This is disgusting. I hate the way I'm talking right now. But if they like kept it going and they were actually mean, I don't like that. So I like
you're actually mean.
So I like nice guys who just have sarcastic humor. Whereas there are some girls that are like, love the bad boy where they're like, does he even want me? He's sleeping with all these other girls, but like, that's just him. I hate that. But I feel like you'd be like, I can change him.
Oh yeah, I love a project. Give me someone I can try and fix.
That is actually very me coded as well. I'll be like, I'm such a like a healer kind of character. I'll be like, I can fix him. Mummy issues, I'm there. I'm so there.
Fuck mummy issues, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, don't put me through any more of those.
What was the fucking question?
Like, why do girls like mean boys? I think it's just the it sounds so cringe, but I think for some people it's just like the chase thing.
Yeah, the
like
chase thing.
Wanting somebody who's like kind of hard to get.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if someone just is like doting on you, it's easy. But like, I would love that.
I dote on people so much.
I'm at the point now. I just want someone who like loves me.
Yeah, just love me.
But then also
go older, Lexie. I'm telling you. Fit and 30 is
fit and 30. 2 Fs. We were in the car and she said that and I said the 2 Fs as a joke and she starts and just goes, 30 doesn't start with an F. But yeah, I think it's just a very specific, like, specific crowd of people. I don't think it's everyone. If you're looking for the wrong girls. If you feel like all the girls you're around, like bad, mean guys, then you just haven't found the right girl yet.
Yeah.
Which I think is something like I said this last episode. I'm in my era of refusing to settle. And it's like, why should I settle for somebody who maybe like doesn't match my energy or doesn't like, you know, this, that and that. My friends recently have been like, you need to just go on dates instead of completely writing people off.
You do. I've been on 2 dates in the last 2 weeks. God forbid the first one, we spoke about that, horrendous. Second one, fit and 30.
Fit and 30. Like my friends, my girlies were just like, you need to just do it because like you never know. And I'm like, this is very, very true. But I think I'm just so scared of like wasting time on somebody who doesn't even like but so it's like, if I'm talking to you, that actually means something, so be aware of that. But yeah, just don't like, if this girl is looking for something that you're definitely not, if they're looking for like a mean boy and you're not a mean boy, just let it go. She's just like, that's her loss. That's her loss. But yeah, I think we should wrap this up now. Can't even go for an hour 10.
I know, I can't believe I can't watch this back. So sorry for any unhinged things I said.
Sorry for any mic issues. But do you want to wrap it up? Go on, Amy. Give a good go at the old subscribe, follow, and listen.
Thank you guys so much for watching the Just Your Type podcast with Lexie and Amy. You can rate us 5 stars if you're on Spotify. Please. You should do that. If you're on YouTube, you can subscribe and leave us a thumbs up. Yeah. And if you're on, is that the only places we post?
TikTok.
And if you're on TikTok,
Instagram,
follow us on there. So where do we actually put these? Like the whole bit.
Full video on YouTube and Spotify. You can watch along and listen along. And then if you want short form content, we post every day on TikTok, YouTube, and Shorts.
Guess the streamer.
Get everywhere. Thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next Wednesday. Woo! We have been Just Your Type. Thank you, Wembley.
Over and out.
Over. Done.